So I'm selling off my camera gear, and no, it's not all of my camera gear. By the way, welcome to Paul Takes Photos. I'm a guy who takes photos and therefore have way too much camera gear. And I've been looking at it, it's been catching dust a bit. No, it hasn't. I have it in these nice Pelican cases, but still way too much of it. And anything that I'm not using or haven't used too much, I'm selling off. So this is cameras, lenses, gimbals, video cameras, and I forgot a few things as well to include into the list. I went to MBP to get a quote from them, and in total it has 20 items here on the list. So that is quite a lot. So let's not waste your time. The simple rule is here, if I didn't use it, I'll sell it. Yes, I know, reckless. So first one on the list I'm selling is the things I would consider my most useless purchases. Yes, gimbals. This here is the Ronin SC, and these were successful videos. At the time I was dabbling with my Lumix camera. I've bought this little baby, it did fit, but I've really never used it. And the times that I used it, I didn't find the user experience that great, way too much hassles for me. So this is the first one. Now, MBP offered me 135 euros, which is, you know, I bought it for 300 something. Quite a steep discount, but it is what it is. Who cares? Next one, another gimbal. The Xeon Smooth Q4 or 3, I can't remember. Regardless, this little baby I've bought once and never used again. A shame, because I'm not saying gimbals are useless, but for me they really didn't work. I think if you're a seasoned videographer, you need to have one. If you're a beginner, you might dabble with it. I personally, didn't work for me, has to go out. Next one, lenses that I have from older systems. Yes, I used to shoot on Sony DSLR camera. I bought a bunch of lenses. I even bought this adapter for on my Sony ZV, the AEL2 I think it is. Nice, isn't it? Yes, very nice, but I don't use it anymore. So if you are actually considering buying your first camera, seeing this might be very good for you. I also sold another bunch of lenses with an A Mount Samyang 35. This is an f1.4. And so they still give me some money for this. Additionally, I have the 50mm for the A Mount series, excellent lens, but as I don't have an A Mount camera and don't like shooting with an adapter, has to go. Quality wise, great lenses at very affordable prices. Lumix we have as well still. I sold Lumix a couple of weeks ago. This is a very good budget lens. There's an episode here you can see, one of my better episodes, 45 to 150, which goes the Lumix 14mm. Yes, this is a little pancake lens, decent enough for video, great for photography, also goes. And we have here the most hated lens I've ever owned, the Fujifilm 15 to 45, which is a kit lens. And in this case, this kit lens is diabolical because I don't like the shooting experience with it. It's electronics, I don't like it, but the image quality is great. So you can pick this up for like 100, 115 bucks, all of those lenses. So that's, you know, pretty good, pretty darn good, I would say. But I don't use it anymore, so it has to go. And then we have another piece of gear. Yes, my beloved DJI Pocket 2. Yes, with the charging case, with all the focus wheel, all these little accessories. Yeah, that's what I'm selling. And the reason is not because it's bad. It's because I don't use it anymore, and I'd really like somebody else to have the opportunity to enjoy the DJI Pocket 1 for a budget price. So, on to the next one. And now go on to the more serious stuff. What I just showed you was stuff I either don't use or has become abundant for whatever the reasons. However, if you follow this channel, you know that I'm an avid Fuji shooter and a Sony FE shooter. I love my A7 III, which I'm not going to sell. Anyways, I do have a bunch of lenses for my A7 III, which I'm selling. And that's not because they're bad lenses. Actually, all of them are pretty good, so I'm taking a loss on it, but I don't use them as often as I would like to. So let us go from the lowest focal length to the highest focal length. The first one I'm selling is the Sony FE 35mm f1.8. I bought this a year ago. I love the image quality of this lens, but I simply don't use it that much. And I really find it a waste of time and space, and also kind of my own finance. This was one of these gas acquisitions to actually hold it in my collection. So this one goes to mbp.com. And here, this cost me 700 euros and they paid me, and they now pay me nearly 400 euros for it. So kind of a heavy loss, gas acquisition. The second one I'm really selling is the Sony 20mm 1.8 G lens. This is arguably one of the best lenses you can buy specifically for landscape photography or videography, because this lens is a beast. Unfortunately, I've seldomly used it. I don't use it for my vlogs. I normally use the Sony ZV-1, and I don't do landscaping that much as I thought I would do. 600 euros, so that's also a 40% reduction. And last but not least, I'm a big fan of macro photography. This is the Laowa 100mm f2.8, fully manual focus. Fantastic, I mean fantastic lens. But I've started, I shoot nowadays, however bizarre that might be, I shoot my macros on the 85mm f1.8, and the reason for that is that lens is so ridiculously sharp and it autofocuses so well that I can crop in. So for me, these three lenses are great. I really like shooting with them, but I don't shoot often enough for them, and I really want to declutter. I have too much gear, so that's out the door as well. Tell me what you think of those three lenses, yeah? Whether you would sell them, own them, or maybe buy them second hand. Now to the last part. We had the gimbals, the lenses I don't use because I don't have the cameras anymore, and some very good Sony FE lenses. Now, obviously cameras, the big kahuna. The first one I'm going to sell is my A7 R2, huge megapixels here. I am going to sell this lovely baby for two reasons. A, I don't use it enough, and B, I intended to buy this for macro photography and birding, and I found out with birding with my 200 to 600, the buffering speeds here, even when you shoot compressed because of the big sensors, it isn't that good, and the battery life is really not good at all. It's the same as on the A6400, but this camera requires a lot more juice, so I'm selling it off. It's a shame. It really is. It's a great camera, great buy. You know, they are still paying me for this a good 700 euros, so definitely, you know, I bought it for 1,000, so it's okay. The second one on the list, and this is really hard, is my trusted Sony A6400, which I'm selling in combination with my Sigma 16mm. And the main reason why I'm doing that, because my Sony ZV came in and I like the shooting experience better for talking heads. Sigma 16mm f1.4, still in my opinion the best lens for talking heads. Really, studio talking heads, best lens. And then last but not least, and the followers of this channel will probably be very surprised of this, if you're following, you know that a couple of weeks, 2 months ago, I traded in all my Lumixes for the Fujifilm X100V. Yeah. A great camera, great image quality. There's just one slight problem, and it's not the occasional hunting of the lens. I am using my X-T2 way more, and I mean not by 10%, by 90%. So this goes back as well. Yes, I have to, it cost me 200 euros to find out that I really like interchangeable lenses. So, but this all, as you can see, you saw the amounts flying here. This all nets me a good 4.5 grand, and you know, this is why I'm always would recommend people to sell off as much gear as you have, because from the abundance it's just sitting there, and you can make other people who are looking for budget deals very happy. This is it from me this week. I'm Paul Takes Photos. See you next time when we're gonna do motorized gimbals. Oh yes.